My name is Michael Rebell. I'm the Executive Director of the Campaign for Educational Equity, which is sponsoring this event. Our campaign is a policy center here at Teachers College, which uses legal scholarship, research, policy analysis, and public engagement to promote the rights of all children, and especially those from disadvantaged backgrounds, to meaningful educational opportunities. And in that vein, we are really proud and excited to present this evening's performance to you. This is a performance of the play known as 10467, which is a zip code, and you'll understand in a few minutes what the reference to the zip code is. These students have all been working with the Epic Theater Company, and we managed to join our legal policy and public engagement expertise with the artistic brilliance and lived experience of these students and those who have been mentoring them. What happened is our research and public engagement team helped these public school students understand and learn what their rights are under the state constitution, under the state laws, and they quickly grasped the fact that not all these rights are being honored and not all of these rights are being implemented. So they got very interested in this. They went out and we introduced them to members of the regents, one of whom is here, I'm pleased to say, members of the governor's staff, the New York City Department of Ed, and they really learned for themselves the facts about what's going on with funding for schools, with dealing with the myriad problems of providing meaningful opportunity to themselves and to their peers. I actually saw 2 earlier performances of this play, and each time was more exciting than the previous time. So I think you're really, really in for a treat. This occasion marks the 10th year that our campaign has been here at Teachers College, and one of the reasons that we've had such a fruitful and productive time during these 10 years is the interest and the support that we've gotten throughout from our president of Teachers College, Susan Furman, and I'm very pleased that Susan's with us tonight, and she's going to say a few words by way of introduction, and then we'll ask Joe Rogers, who's our public engagement person who reached out to these students, to just give you a little background on it, and then we'll be getting into the show. Susan?
So, thank you so much, Michael. It's a pleasure to welcome you all this evening. I know that from its start, Teachers College has been driven by a deep and abiding commitment to social justice, and educational equity and financing equity are at the heart of social justice. And on a personal note, when I was a student at TC in the long ago 1970s, working with Donna Shalala, my advisor, our study of education policy was focused on school financing. And it was at the start of the school finance reform movement, which we felt during those years of the 70s we contributed a great deal to. And today, if there is a movement to bring equity to school finances because of Michael Rebell and continuing in that tradition of TC leadership and commitment to equity. The Campaign for Education Equity has been working to close the gap in access and achievement among America's more advantaged and least advantaged students. And Michael joined us in 2005 as a professor of law and educational practice to launch the campaign just after he successfully litigated the landmark school finance funding suit, CFE versus State of New York. The TC community welcomed Michael as an internationally known educational law scholar and one of the nation's foremost educational litigators, and he's widely respected for his tenacity and brilliance in the pursuit of educational justice for all students. As Michael said, the campaign combines rigorous analysis with vigorous advocacy, research, policy development, and coalition building. And its many victories over the years have demonstrated again and again that equity in education is both affordable and achievable if only we commit to it. Under Michael's leadership, this effort's had many successes both in the courts and in the court of public opinion, But it's a continuing battle, and it's not going to be won until we can say that the educational rights of all children, regardless of background, zip code, political climate, race, anything, are being met. Today's event showcases the campaign's newest public engagement initiative, Know Your Educational Rights, which provides research-based information and tools to those most affected by educational inequities and rights violations, students and parents. I hope you had a chance to visit the learning stations and experience firsthand the interactive resources. The play to be presented this evening is written and performed by high school students, many from the zip code 10467, and it makes clear the power and eloquence of students as advocates. I want to thank you all for being here in support of the Campaign for Educational Equity, and I want to acknowledge Jessica Wolf, Policy Research Director of the campaign, for all she's done to bring us to this moment. I'm very pleased now to introduce Joe Rogers Jr., who graduated from Teachers College in 2009 with a master's in Education Leadership, Policy, and Politics. He joined the campaign 5 years ago and serves as Director of Public Engagement and as Senior Researcher. He believes very strongly that changes needed to bring about educational equity will happen only with authentic community engagement. And tonight's event is a testament to the passion and enthusiasm Joe and the entire team at the campaign bring to their work. So thank you, have a great evening, and here's Joe.
Good evening. Thank you, President Susan Furman, for the introduction and for being here tonight and demonstrating your commitment to our students and to this work. A couple more thank yous here before we get into the real reason most of you are here. I want to thank our faculty co-sponsors of this event. We got a wonderful grant to help underwrite some of the expenses here this evening, food and otherwise, from the Office of Diversity and Community Affairs, which is led by Vice President, I gave her a promotion. Vice President Janice Robinson, and the director of the office is Jolene Lane. So I want to thank them for their financial support of this event and allowing us to make it happen. So a round of applause for the Office of Diversity and Community Affairs and their team. I'd also like to thank TC's events department here. They have worked tirelessly over the past several weeks and have worked very closely with our team to pull us together and have done an outstanding job. So I want to thank especially Linda Colquhoun and Trish McNicholas of the Events and Development Offices for their support. Yes, please. I want to thank my colleagues, fellow staff members of the campaign, and also we had a wonderful group of volunteers tonight who either ushered you in or handed you programs or guided you to our translation station or elsewhere tonight. So I want to thank all of our fellow staff members and volunteers for their support. And then I also want to, I do want to recognize a couple of youth organizations in the room here who are doing outstanding work in the community. They've inspired me, and this conversation here today, this play and this conversation are really about the role of our young people, the leadership roles of our young people in advancing educational equity and in the fight for educational justice. And so I want to thank, first of all, the Brotherhood Sister Soul here in Harlem for coming out with Bro Sis in the back. And I want to thank our friends also from The Point in the South Bronx, from Hunts Point. There's a point, somewhere here, over here. And finally, in terms of the thank yous, I want to thank those of you who donated to our year-end campaign a couple months ago. You know, your support is instrumental in allowing us to do this work. And we hope to secure additional support in the near future to be able to meet the growing demand for the research-based supports that we provide to youth groups, parent groups, and community groups. So thank you again for your support, those of you who have donated to date. And I'm going to mention a little bit later, more specifically, how those of you who might like to contribute can do so. So stay tuned for that. So now I know none of you came here for a lecture tonight. And most of you came here for a play. Some of you came here for a discussion about youth activism and education. But first, I want to give you a little more background information, and then we'll get right to the point. So in 2006, after local parents Many of them were parents here in West Harlem on up to Washington Heights and Inwood. 2006, they won a major legal victory, and they did that with the support of lawyers like Michael Rebell, who was co-counsel on the case, and a major law firm and some other support. But it was parents aided by these lawyers who won this battle after 13 years in court. That court case, as many of you know, is called the Campaign for Fiscal Equity versus the state of New York. Essentially, what the Court of Appeals, the highest court in the land, said after that 13-year legal battle is that New York State's government, you are violating the constitutional rights under state law. You're violating the rights of our young people in this state, specifically here in New York City. You must comply with the law, and you must provide at least the basic opportunities to which young people are entitled under state law. And that was to be to the tune of over $5 billion a year in additional educational resources for New York City alone. There's additional building aid and what have you. We won't get into the specifics of that. They started to phase in that remedy. They started to provide the money. They stopped after year 2. It's supposed to be phased in over 4 years. And they cried broke. What they said, it was during the recession. A lot of people didn't have as much money. The state said, we know we're on the hook to provide these supports, but just give us a few more years. We're going to get to those constitutional rights, when we get a little more cash. The problem with that, as you can imagine, is that constitutional rights don't dissipate in a tough economic climate. Children's rights do not go away. You cannot sweep them under the rug conveniently until you're ready to pony up. You must find the resources that underwrite, that support high-quality educational opportunities in our public schools around the state. And to date, the legislature has not done that. Our state government has not done that. And they didn't do the research that they would have needed to do in order to determine whether young people in our schools were receiving any of these basic opportunities. So we did that research as the Campaign for Educational Equity under Michael's leadership. And we pulled together for the first time ever a compendium or a collection of educational rights under New York state law. And that included students' rights in every subject area and every social support area for the first time ever. And that document is called Essential Resources, and I encourage you to download it as a PDF from our website, which is equitycampaign.org, equitycampaign.org. Around the same time, we decided that we need to go into the schools, right? It's a bright idea, actually go into the schools to find out what was happening and to find out how these budget cuts were affecting students and educators on a daily basis. So we launched an 18-month study that took us all around New York State. I went up to cow country on the Canadian border, to small rural districts. We went to suburban districts, small city districts, 2 large urban districts, including New York City. And here in the city, we visited 12 schools across all 5 boroughs. And what we found won't shock any of you who have spent time in schools, whether you're young people, whether you're students, whether you're educators, or maybe some researchers, and certainly parents as well who spend time in schools. We found that schools weren't able to provide extra tutoring that they must provide under state law when students are not meeting state standards. They actually have a constitutional legal right to additional tutoring and instructional support. Schools weren't providing that. Basic supplies, technology, textbooks that were up to date. Who wants a 6-year-old, we've had President Obama in office for a couple of terms now, but at the time when we did this study, there were textbooks that had the last president. We're teaching social studies, and our young people don't have accurate information. Why? Not because their schools don't like them or are evil or they don't want to give children their due, but because they didn't have the resources to do this and to do it well and the way that our young people deserve. And you'll see that dramatized in 10467, which we're about to watch. If you read the report that captures our findings from that study, it's called Deficient Resources. It's also available at equitycampaign.org. Don't read it before you go to sleep. It'll give you indigestion or nightmares. But the reality is that our young people who are in these schools that are under-resourced, they're living a nightmare every day. That we as a society, we as a state, we as our state government is not providing the basics. And we need to live with that, and we need to do something about it. And that's why the voices of these young people and their work is so important here. A little more of my adult voice, just one more second. We realize when we produce these major reports that are very dense and full of legal language and policy wonkishness, that the average student or parent isn't necessarily going to be able to use these to advocate, to find out what their rights are, and then to advocate to make sure that our schools are providing these supports. So we began to break these rights down into user-friendly or bite-sized chunks. We created these handouts that we call the Know Your Educational Rights handout series. We've produced about 10 so far. They're also available on our website at equitycampaign.org under publications. And we encourage you to download them and share them, especially if you're a parent, if you're a student and educator. We want everyone to know about our young people's rights, and this was our effort in order to make this information more accessible than you might find in a policy report or some very dense research document that doesn't necessarily get shared beyond the confines of academic institutions. So that's that. And we use these documents, these user-friendly handouts in the workshops we conducted, had the pleasure of facilitating in collaboration with Epic Theater Ensemble, our partners for tonight's, one of our partners for tonight's event. And the young people took the information, they took a little bit of guidance around who's responsible for their rights or for honoring their rights and for addressing rights violations. And with that, I'd like to bring up one of the students, one of the most vocal and outstanding and insightful students, and there are many of them in this troupe. But I want to introduce you to Vanessa Martinez and ask her to join me here on the stage. So Vanessa is a high school senior in the Bronx, and she helped create this play that's about to rock your world. So thank you, Vanessa.
Hi. So my name is Vanessa Martinez. I'm from one of the 3 schools that Epic Theater Ensemble is a part of. I'm from Bronx High School for Writing and Communication Arts. As Joe said, we researched it, we wrote it. The characters are all based off of someone that we know, or they're based off of our voices that were never heard. So this is our way of saying, this is what's happening around us, this is our response, and this is exactly what we think is going to happen. So I hope you guys enjoy the show. That's all I got to say.
And next, I know there are several at least parent activists in the room, parents who are active here in this community, in fact. And I'd like to bring up another dear partner of ours who participates in or collaborates with us in this Know Your Educational Rights initiative. We have a youth engagement arm or youth activism arm, and we also have a parent engagement initiative. And I'd like to invite up to the stage now Dr. Renee Young, who is the parent facilitator of the Adelaide Sanford Institute's Parent Leadership Institute, based in central Brooklyn. And for the past it started about 10 months ago, we came and we talked about educational rights and gave a brief overview. And we sat down with Dr. Young, who's an amazing veteran educator. I guess once you're an educator, you're never really a veteran, you're still in the trenches. But she's an amazing leader. She believes deeply in the power of youth activism and parent leadership. And I want to invite her to just share a few words about the work that she's doing in Brooklyn, central Brooklyn, and that we're doing together to make sure parents also have the information they need to advocate. So Dr. Renee Young.
Thank you, Joe, for those kind words. Good evening. The play that you're going to see documents very clearly the lack of educational resources in schools and underserved communities. Now, this situation is long-standing, big difference. Big difference. The situation is long-standing, widespread, and I believe criminal. The play will also show you what can happen when students have a voice, have an opportunity for leadership, and can engage in their own development. All are critical to effect change. Youth activism is clearly key. So what is the solution to the lack of educational resources. I believe, and I believe this sincerely, that parent advocacy and youth activism spell power. And it is our only hope and our last hope. So the backdrop for this play is the partnership between CEE and PLI, and that's the Parent Leadership Institute. That is why we formed our partnership. Now, the Parent Leadership Institute, and we have parents here tonight from this institute, and I want them to stand and be acknowledged. Come on, stand up. They came all the way from Central Brooklyn. Give them another round of applause. For the last 5 years, we have helped parents in Central Brooklyn support and supplement their children's education. Our goal is to improve student achievement. That is our goal. But one parenting component was missing, and it may have been the most important component, and that was knowledge of students' rights. What are our students entitled to, as Joe so eloquently described, under state law? So we formed this partnership to inform the parents in Brooklyn about their rights as it relates to their children's education. So we have embarked on a journey where we have provided informative sessions for our parents. And it reflects 3 verbs: link, learn, lead. Say that with me. Link, learn, lead. Link, learn, lead. I can't help it. I can't. That's what I do. That's what I do. The first is link. That means parents have to join together. It's not going to take one or two. One or two parents, one parent here, it's not going to make a difference. They have to link together. They have to learn. They have to learn all of the laws, and once they get that knowledge, what their children are entitled to, they have to do something with it. They have to share it. They have to develop a plan of action. And then they lead. And how do they lead? They engage other parent groups, community education councils, PTA groups, churches, civic organizations. And they come together, and very key, they persist. They don't give up. It's not about one march or one rally. It's about doing this over a long period of time. And then they must come together to pressure elected officials or any other major stakeholders in the process. And I know if we do this, I believe this sincerely, we will win. We have to win because these are our children. This is our future. And there is no greater asset than our children. And I thank you, Joe Rogers, for your time, your expertise, coming to Brooklyn on the train, and your commitment to these goals. I thank you.
So the other stakeholder group, there are many stakeholder groups, but one of them that you didn't hear about, and I want to make sure we recognize them because they also help make this possible here this evening, is teachers. Any teachers, former teachers, current teachers, et cetera? A number of you. So we have probably maybe a good 15, 20% are teachers in the room. I want to thank 2 teachers who saw the brilliance of these young people when they came to the National Black Theater Performance back in August of 2015. It premiered there on August 31st, I think it was. And 2 educators from Teachers College, besides Michael, of course, our executive director, were there. And they were so excited about this. They said, we want to take it to TC. We want to take it wherever we can take it. We want to take it to DC. And those educators, at least one of them is here this evening, one is abroad. Dr. Michelle Knight Manuel is here in the front row with her husband. I want to thank her for her enthusiasm and for recognizing the power of this work and for seeing the value of connecting teachers, educators, teachers and students and other community members in fighting for educational justice. And because of Michelle, we're taking this down to the American Educational Research Association Centennial Conference, or 100-year conference down in DC in 2 weeks. So we're taking what's now been a very local issue to the national stage. And we have Michelle to thank, or Dr. Knight Manuel, if you will. She was my professor, so I go back and forth now, the formal, informal. But I also want to thank Dr. Yolanda Seeley Ruiz, who's also a professor here, a faculty member. Many of you know her. Another educator, amazing educator who's committed to social justice. She's in Paris with her daughter, I believe, at the moment, so she couldn't be here, but she helped make it happen. Finally, I promise, finally. In 8th grade, I gave a speech at a New England oratorical contest. And my speech was about educational excellence and equity. And I won a $1,500 college scholarship for winning that New England contest. But I will tell you that the young people you're about to see here, especially the seniors, they've already won scholarships through their work with Epic and through these kinds of performances. $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 scholarships, full ride because of their hard work, their brilliance, and their intelligence and their commitment. And you know, whereas I won a little scholarship and I want a little bit of respect that day, these young people are going to win your laughs. They're going to win your heart. They're going to win inspiration. You're going to walk out of here being fired up to take action, and they're going to inform you. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the powerful play 10467.
My zip code can't be the cause of my inequity. My skin color can't be the only thing that they see. You've been beaten around the bushes because we ain't bright, but we gon' fight to the pipe because it's our right. But we can see the weakness weeping from the window pane. So I expect Donald Trump to be the main. You say the horse can't be forced to drink the water. Well, I say force is the cause, so push harder.
Yes, sir. As a member of the Board of Regents, I understand that my job is, well, yes, I understand that the schools in that zip code have not shown the necessary results. But what you're forgetting is that these schools also need additional aid. They need newer textbooks, adequately trained teachers. Sir, are you not capable of understanding this? These young adults are our future. Yes, sir, I comprehend what you're telling me. Yes, sir. But I still believe the schools in Westchester no longer require this excessive. The inner city schools need more than the. Equality is not the word for it. Equity. They need equity. They need more than the same amount because the schools upstate started out ahead. And the inner city schools cannot be expected to catch up with some kind of extra help. Well, sir, you need to realize no one can leave the city and move upstate. They don't have that option. But they still want the children to get a powerful education. If we want to make it accessible for all. Sir? Sir?
Politicians turn to politricksters, pulling the same trick. How much money we gonna make off you fools is what they think. Doing everything they can to make sure that they stay on top. I pray to God that these fools will never step foot on my block. You don't know how good we should have it. These ain't some luxuries we should have. Don't put them into the back burner. They want to make us broke and stupid so we can make it out, whether it's making it to college or taking a bus route. But I promise you I won't get inequity, get the best of me. Brothers are killing brothers and living just for a check, you see. We are all born, we live, we sleep, and we die in the same class. It's kind of like Hinduism. A class system turned to a caste system. What's the issue? We're focused on building buildings instead of building our future. It's us. We stay silent. It's us.
Hey, yo, what's up, man?
Hey, man, nothing much. Yo, but check it. Why tell these teachers start something? Because I don't have a notebook.
I mean, that's nothing new, man. You already know how they are.
I mean, yeah, but check it. I mean, why they expect me to have notebooks if nobody's giving them to me? I mean, what am I taking notes on? Them raggedy-ass textbooks from like 20 years ago? The ones that have like 200 pages missing on them and got tags on all the rest of them?
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you.
Yeah, but like I said, I ain't gonna stress. I mean, I feel like something bad's gonna happen to me today, but like I said, I ain't gonna stress.
All right, so what are you gonna do?
Boy, I'm gonna go to class and I'm gonna ask for some pen and some paper for that fine shorty with the with the glasses, you know what I'm saying?
How much longer am I supposed to
We
teach this
don't
class?
have the needed
I'm
support
supposed
staff to
be
fit these
teaching
kids in their
US
needed
history.
classes.
I've got 36 kids on the rosters. Half of them have IEPs.
We have to
And I
offer
just get
at least
selected.
one AP course, so hard choices have to be.
Look, I am a U.S. history teacher. Half of these kids need an English credit. Why are we all in a finance class?
I have responsibilities to take care of.
Good morning, class. Take out your notebooks, write down your heading. Tyrone, where is your notebook? Where is your notebook?
I don't have one, miss.
Montgomery.
What?
It's Mrs. Montgomery.
Hey, miss, can I get some help with this do now? I don't understand what it's asking me to
Just
do.
take out your notebook.
Why am I still in this class? I'm supposed to have an AP credit in English.
I don't know I'm in this class. I'm supposed to be a U.S. history
Okay, look,
teacher.
you ain't gotta call me out like that, miss. I mean, I don't see why I should have my notebook when you guys don't even have y'all textbooks.
Every student in here has a notebook except for you. I can't afford to buy another student another notebook. Can you just ask a student for some paper?
Hey, miss, I need help with the do now. I just don't understand what it's asking me to do. Like, what is...
Ask a peer for some help. Tyrone, can you please ask a student for
No,
paper?
miss! No, miss!
God!
Man, you probably one of those teachers that think I should be like locked up or gunned down by now. But you know what? My GPA
Your
is high.
GPA is not high. It's not even a reflective.
I mean, look, where the textbooks at though? Where are the textbooks at though? I mean, and do what now? Ain't nothing to do.
Hey, Christine, what are we supposed to be doing right now?
Beats me. This class has nothing to do with the credit that I need for college.
Miss, can I go to the bathroom?
Yeah,
I
me
go
too.
No, you can't go to the bathroom. Just ask a peer for some paper. Just ask a peer for some help.
Miss, we don't really have anything in the classroom. I mean, it's not his fault we don't have anything here. We don't have textbooks, computers. We don't even have paper in a writing school.
Hey, miss, what is finance?
Boy.
Oh my God.
Tyrone, Principal Gordon wants to see you.
Man, that clown what for?
Watch your mouth. Listen. Stop. You know I think you're a good kid and all, but you're sending a wrong message to them. Give me the bag.
Hell no.
Stop.
Yo, why am I in trouble already? I mean, I've only been in school for
gonna
one
beat
period.
you. I'm
Like,
gonna
what?
give me the damn bag.
Ain't nothing in my bag, yo. Come on.
It's just poems! Tyrone!
Hey, miss, I kind of need to talk to you. So
Not-
about the,
Now, Nicholas, I need to find the AP.
okay, but I just want to know,
Nickel.
what does finance mean?
Nick, I don't know.
Alright, miss, I'm sorry, I just want to, can you just tell me, what does that mean? I know you're not...
Nicholas, I don't understand finance.
Okay.
I barely understand financial aid.
Okay, alright, but miss...
Nicholas, you're gonna be late to your next class. Now, please go.
Alright,
Montgomery, now please go, Nicholas.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Wait, no. I'm here trying to get your work because I didn't really understand it. Granted, I could have paid more attention, but you were so busy handling that situation, I literally could have fired off a bullet in class and you wouldn't have noticed. Now, I don't know what it is, but I can't piece together most of what I hear in your class. Not that you're a bad teacher, I'm not saying that, it's just that I can't think as well as I can speak.
That's an issue you should bring up to the counselor.
Wow. Really? So you deadass just don't care at all?
Look, Nicholas, if you can't pay attention in class, you can't expect me to give you a summary of the lesson.
Well, miss, sometimes with you a summary is the lesson.
Excuse me, Nicholas. Lena, my finance class isn't working.
I have a meeting with the parents.
Minimally adequate players present a minimally adequate poem.
How now?
Brown cow.
The end.
Cowin, bring me my cell phone. I have to call my daughter. Oh, Lord. She gotta bring me my special salt to soak my feet. Every time I hear another issue, it's like a corn just popped right out of nowhere. Oh, Lord. Oh. What? Y'all heard the news? About how Dr. Regent Thompson coming to this school with that certificate of progress? He needs to be coming around here more often teaching these kids about life. I swear, they get more wow each and every day. They might just punch me in the face one day. Oh, you see their moms walking out with juicy plastered on their bare feet. They need to be worried about them test scores instead of how much that goat shit costs. Alright? Oh, girl! Let my mama come back in the house back in them days. See me not doing my homework. God knows I would have got kicked in my left eye. Oh, God. See, I love Dr. Regent Thompson. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Ooh. He can come in here and speak some inspiring words and butter up Miss Lattimore's heart just the way she likes it. Oh, and for my babies, of course. Of course. You see, I watch these kids grow up and walk into the halls of mischief, and all they do is break into Miss Lattimore's heart. Oh, they beatboxing and rapping and poodle-bopping. Oh, they could be professionals. Grow up and give this zip code a good name. They be slanging and banging and shaking, ranging and danging. And then they want to be heard when somebody say they acting dumb. What they say, Shirley? 104.67, that's what I read. Boy! Boy, please. Oh, but they still my babies. They can grow up to be professionals, give this zip code a good name, and show Dr. Thompson how good this zip code is so he can give me some sugar. Yes.
This school is embarrassing. My daughter's not going to college if she can't get that AP English class you promised. You know what? This is bull. No. This is beyond bull. You know, you people are a joke. Never taking this seriously, taking advantage. I mean, what kind of person are you? Do you even know how hard it was for me to find Christine a good school in this zip code just to see her graduate with a smile on her face and head to college? When I see her come home from school, I can see the colors faded on her face. I looked into her eyes. The cold look in her eyes. No. You don't know how it feels to see my own child emotionally hurt. Nothing you can do. They're just called the... I got 3 words for you. Freedom of speech. You better watch out, because when I stop fighting, I never back down.
Yo, I'm so done with this. I mean, when I don't show up, everybody miss me. I mean, not Miss Montgomery, though. She hated me since the 9th grade. I don't know why I always end up in her class. I mean, she never has any work for me. I mean, she won't even give me a single sheet of paper. I mean, she acts like it's a crime for me to ask for a single sheet of paper. Or is that just for a student like me? Oh, why is he in here? He doesn't understand the work. No, how? I mean, I do understand the work. It's just that nobody ever gives me a chance. I was only in school for 1 period, before these clowns took me out. One period, all because Principal Gordon had it in for me. And that's when I went straight home. Felt as blind as ever because they got my bag and my glasses. That's when I went straight home. I mean, it's not like anybody's ever really there anyways.
The minimally adequate players present a minimally adequate children's story.
Once upon a time, a dog went outside.
He died.
Yes.
Article about Tyrone.
This Montgomery should not be teaching that class. Miss Samuel, she should be teaching that class. She can teach anything. But yeah, he isn't even going to be coming back
To the newspaper club?
to school.
I heard about it, but not enough information. We have a paper due out Friday.
How about the rats that are hiding in the walls of
Who
the
wants to see them?
cafeteria?
Oh, we don't need that kind of news.
How about this breaking news? Another poll from our lovely gymatorium has fallen on another student. That kid should have seen where she was going. Pop, 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 pop.
Attention! We wrote that 2 weeks ago. Today seems like a slow day, so how about we take a look at the question/suggestion box? First one. How can we get
A teacher fired.
Nope. Why do we have to go to the bathroom one at a time, like one toilet work? Of course, we're going to go to the bathroom one at a time. Suck my... No. Last one. They lower our standards, so when They lower our standards so much.
They lower our standards so much so that when we get anything from them, it's considered enough. Then we go complacent, thinking that we ain't shit simply because we're young. And so we're told to shut up.
So we're told to shut up.
What does complacent mean?
Got you. Showing small or uncritical satisfaction with oneself or one's achievements.
Alright, so it's like when you ace the test but you're not on the honor roll?
No, it's more like if you say, I get good grades, but you got a 65 average.
What do you say? At least it's not failing.
I think that should be No, I think the kid in the paper was talking about being shut down when we know we have more to say.
What this kid is getting at, what we should be getting at, is that our standards are so low that we're supposed to appreciate an educational system that is barely okay.
I like that. Barely okay. I have two teachers that are barely okay.
But isn't what this kid is saying is that makes us barely okay students? Yo, we have to look into this. They say about standards, but who sets them?
Barely okay is starting to sound like a punchline to some kind of joke.
And maybe we're the joke. How do we even look into it? We barely even know what we're looking for. We could study up. We know how to research a story. My daughter always told me, you gotta be prepared with the information if you want to change the situation. If we want to tackle this, we're gonna have to find out what is causing schools to fail.
And what makes some schools better than others to see the difference between the two?
How schools look, staff, the supplies, because I'm pretty sure not all schools have a gymatorium. I've never seen that with I could start looking into how much state funding a school does spend in a year. Maybe we could try to set up interviews? I like that. I'll ask my dad to see if anyone he knows.
Please don't give me an interview with Miss Lattimore or a teacher from the PTA. They look at us with pity eyes. I want a region council or a city board up in here. I want the dad eyes full of facts.
No worries. I'll ask my dad to see who we can try to contact. In the meanwhile, we have to start figuring out why we all sense the standards are lower and no one is talking about it.
The minimally adequate players present a minimally adequate love song.
again.
My mom always told me that if I wanted to become a famous artist, I had to stay in school and get the grades. If I got anything below an 85, she'd take my paintbrushes away. If I got in trouble with the teacher, she'd sit me down and tell me that the teachers were there for me, pouring their hearts out into mine to make sure the goal of school was realized in my life. That goal was to make sure the next generation will be capable of owning a bright future. I took my mom's words seriously. I also didn't want her to take my things away. So I worked hard, studied, and passed. Despite all that, I never did find the right teacher who would lead me to my bright future. There is no art teacher at our school. No one to show me what pointillism is, who Matisse and Van Gogh are. I had to do that on my own, and I did. But when it came time to enter that big school scholarship, I couldn't submit any work. You need your art teacher to sign the submission form. No big scholarship for college, no dreams. So technically, our school failed. Or was my mom just wrong?
Oh, Nicholas, she's just trying to help you.
Who wants a counselor to help me? Do I have a sign on my back that says, please save this little brown kid? Miss Montgomery's underqualified and she doesn't want to help us out anyhow. I'm just going to go to school, forget college, and maybe get a job and put some money in my mom's hand. I mean, I'm no charity case, but why can't we get the basic things we need? Like paper and pencils, so that way when I have to ask for some, I don't have to hear the teacher's lame response. I'm not stable. Education is free, but this rate is not even standard. I mean, my mom, she can't help me out with supplies. I come to school to learn, but I can't face the chewed up pencils and crashing computers. It's not my battle to fight. I just know I gotta get out of here.
The minimally adequate players present a minimally adequate fire safety lesson.
Fire! Yeah.
Good afternoon, Miss Diaz. Okay, Christine, let's suspend some formalities. You don't have to call me Dr. Thompson. You can just call me Andre. We here at the Board of Regents don't always get much of a chance to talk to the students that we serve. Yes, there clearly is a problem with the public school system. However, I know how easy that problem would be to fix. All it would take is, say, a very diverse group of New Yorkers standing up and proclaiming that they know their rights and will accept nothing less than was given to them by the state constitution. Not just racially diverse, it can be people of different ages, of different boroughs. But race matters. I have a saying I heard from a friend. A diverse team will get you a better result, but a homogeneous team will get you a faster result. And in a society where efficiency matters, sometimes diversity doesn't. But in this case, diversity is critical. You don't want to give anyone ammunition with which to shoot you down. I want to help students from schools like yours because these days, there are no more second chances. When I was growing up, I had more second chance opportunities. I could make mistakes. But you do something wrong today, and that could finish you. Sometimes it just takes one thing, and it could destroy your whole life. Christine, I'll work on getting you an interview with a public official who can answer some more of your questions. Thank you for this conversation. I look forward to meeting you soon.
my name is Christine Diaz.
Hello, my name is Margaret Chandler.
Wow. Would it kill you to shake my hand? It's only common courtesy. Don't worry, I'll reach out my hand to you too. Not all sick kids are rude. Hello, my name is Christine Diaz.
Hello, my name is Margaret Chandler.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Chandler.
It's a pleasure to meet you too, Miss Diaz.
Fake smiles already.
It's a pleasure to meet you too, Miss Diaz.
Right, Miss Chandler. I've been taking down some notes. It's only for my reference.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
How do I say this so I don't offend you? I don't like you. What is your job?
It's a very complicated job I have a lot of responsibilities. I can't explain to myself. It's a very complicated job I can't possibly explain all at this meeting.
Okay, great. Next question. Our school has a gymatorium. That's what they call it. It's a gym and an auditorium together. So when you're trying to play basketball, you have to watch out for the poles that support the auditorium. So, in your opinion, what are the adequate steps being taken to ensure that New York City students have the adequate facilities that we need in order to play basketball and do theater, just not in the same way?
That's a very good question. Give me your name and number and I'll get back to you. I think your questions is one of those questions you need to ask a direct representative of New York City. The state has nothing to do with this. I mean, we do, you know. I think your questions is one of those questions you need to ask a direct representative of New York City. The state has nothing to do with this. That's not my department. We oversee the department. But the city runs the facilities. I don't think that's underneath the New York State's purview. I believe you need to ask the mayor. He'll be able to give you more of an insight. The state does provide money for education, just not for the Bronx. But we, for the state needs money for necessities such as repairing roads, make the state improve, everything that makes the state improve. So, New York City schools are part, a very small part of what the state will fund.
Do you realize how, excuse my language, how fucking stupid you sound? You'd rather waste money on repairing the roads rather than on you folks study on this amazing I see it. When your generation is done, my generation will take over, except we will be less educated because some moron decided to fix the boat geometry class, or even better yet, a textbook that did not say turn to page 184 and see, follow me on Instagram at smiley_, trying to be written all over it. So, Miss Chandler, with all the respect in the world, the state can shove their money up there. Oh, that's interesting.
I just want to clarify, it's not the state's fault.
Of course.
The state has all the responsibility.
It's interesting how we have developed a human instinct to point fingers. That's interesting.
You think my job is easy, don't you? No. You just want someone to blame Miss Diaz. So I'll be damned if you want to take me down with the rest. I do my job. As it was expected of someone in my department. What you don't know, or rather what you don't get to know, is that I have a family myself. You see, I have a theory. You put others and me in a situation to dehumanize me. I am human. I think, I feel, and that's what's dangerous. I'm sorry that they don't have certain things. In these times, it is eat or be eaten, sink or swim. I can't give you all the things that I know that you need. After all, I'm only one person that speaks.
Politicians are paid to lie. No. Bureaucrats are paid to lie. They are the biggest bullshitters ever. Politicians get elected by promising the people ideas that seem amazing at the time. And as soon as they get elected, they hire these bureaucrats to say that they never said those things. But in that moment, she was real. She's right. I tried to uncover the big story. I tried to get her to tell me something that wasn't there. But you see, that's the problem. If no one speaks up, then who will? The silence can become quite violent.
That's probably the most realist thing I would ever hear a bureaucrat say. But you won't catch the media quoting her on that. They'd rather run some dumb shit Donald Trump says. Money makes the world go around, right?
Yeah, so what other things did we learn from the research and interviews?
I asked Regent Thompson, are schools better now than when you were coming up during the civil rights movement?
The one thing that's the same are the children. You know, young people are young people. They all have aspirations, they all want to go on and do great things. Some of them are not always as clear as to how to do it, but I've never met a young person that didn't want to do well. So, to answer your question, particularly if you are poor and of color, it is actually worse.
All these kids in urban underfunded areas get caught up in who they are and what society wants them to be. When you feel out of place, you start to withdraw.
I asked my dad if the legislature was responsible.
The legislature? Huh. They support their kids, but not ours, especially my child. Us parents can even do anything because we're a bunch of insects to them. The government, we're all in poverty and they're watching us rot.
How do we change things?
I don't want to participate in the blame game. It does nothing for me, for us. It only allows those who don't want to take part of this calamity. We are all responsible.
Should every child have equity? Yes. But is every problem in this world going to be addressed? No. This mentality is already planted in the voices of the children whose equity level is hidden. And sadly, my mentality is the same. We can give them the resources, but we can't make them obliged to the future.
You know how many grants I had to write to get money for this school? I continue to write them though. Because to be an assistant principal, you have to have resilience. You can't just complain that the education system is messed up and not do anything about it. Ain't nobody gonna make provisions so that your child can have a meaningful education. You have to make do when you have absolutely nothing.
One of my interviewees pointed me to a recent lawsuit, Campaign for Physical Equity versus State of New York. A Supreme Court judge said that students have constitutional rights to a sound basic education.
Children are entitled to minimally adequate physical facilities and classrooms which provide enough light, space, heat, and air to permit these children to learn.
The gymatorium, holy shit. Oh no,
Enough air. I never knew air was a privilege since it's minimally adequate, right? Barely okay. No?
According to the judge,
Children should also have access to minimally adequate instrumentalities of learning, such as desks, chairs, pencils, and reasonably current textbooks.
I mean, according to our textbooks, Richard Nixon is still our president.
this is my favorite.
Children are also entitled to minimally adequate teaching of reasonably up-to-date curriculum, such as reading, writing, mathematics, science, and social studies, by sufficient personnel adequately trained to teach those subject areas.
Do you think our teachers know about this?
I highly doubt it. We have to interrupt that town hall meeting today. It's mandatory because Regent Andre Thompson and the superintendent are going to be there.
And that baseball player that used to go here.
And it's time that the parents stepped up.
Wow, look at my babies go! See, I love all my babies.
Even though they're not my babies, they're still my babies. Oh, it's just, how can anyone turn their back on a child? What could they ever do to make you want to shut them out? Is it because of their age? Someone would feel the need not to listen? This school can improve, but what does that do for my black babies and my Hispanic babies? Do they improve? I'm a little embarrassed to say I don't know how to fix the issue, but I swear I want to help. I do want to help, and I'm going to speak at that town meeting, but how though? How does one fight with little to no knowledge about the topic? How is Miss Lattimore going to look walking into their meeting and they're talking all that good, meaningful stuff, and Miss Lattimore won't know a damn thing they're saying? I get my kids to talk and open up with me, and I can't even advocate how to get things to change for them.
Good evening, everyone. As you know, Dr. Regent Thompson will be coming to present. Yes, Dr. Regent Thompson will be coming to present us with a certificate of progress for all the hard work that we've accomplished over the past few years. As a treat, Principal Gordon has brought back an alum that has done us very, very proud.
Hello, students. We are all here today to hear from someone quite famous. He is a famous baseball player who went to our school. Here he is now, Anthony Lopez. Kyle.
How are we, guys? You guys good? You guys good? Yeah. Why not great? Why not amazing? That's how you guys should feel. Let me tell you guys a story. It was 1995, right here in the Bronx, 10467. I was walking past a fancy restaurant, and there was an alley behind that restaurant. So I walked toward the restaurant. I walked toward the alley. I looked in the alley. I heard a sound in the alley. And what do you think I saw? What do you think I saw? Tell me. What do you think I saw in the alley? What do you think I saw in the alley? What do you think I saw in the alley? No. I saw a man eating another man. He looked up at me and he said, "Yes, is there a problem?" I said, "Yeah, ain't no problem. As long as you give me a leg." And we ate that man together. The point of the story is, you have to want it. If you want it, you'll get it. You have to want success. You have to want success when you want to breathe. You have to want success when you want to sleep. You have to want success when you want to eat.
How they need to eat?
No! You have to want success when you want to shower, shave, or clip your toenails.
How they need all of those.
I can't wait for someone to give you something that like... You have to go out and get it yourself. You have to go out and get your own education. Your school doesn't serve lunch, you make your own lunch. Your school doesn't have chairs, you sit on the floor. Your school doesn't have a library, you build the library. Your school has old-written history textbooks, you write new history textbooks. Let me tell you something. I didn't have all the breaks. It took me 16 years and months. 16! To get a high school diploma. I didn't go to college. Real college. You don't need to go to college when you got this philosophy. Stop sleeping on the streets! Stop sleeping at your mom's house! a donation. But you know what? The schools don't need money. You guys need accountability. You guys don't need money. You guys need motivation. I just gave you motivation! You're welcome, I love you.
Thank you. I think. Now, before the superintendent and Regent Dr. Thompson arrive, I want to remind you that your thoughts and your questions will be recorded and given to the State Education Department. So please, Beth, Sal, if you want to speak out, that's fine.
Yeah, I got a question.
What is it?
I tried, and I tried, and I tried, but I know I'm not getting the education that I need. My younger siblings are in middle school, and they're getting the stuff that my class is learning now. They're 12 and 13. I'm 17. So, do I just stay and get the education that a middle school is getting? Or do I just drop out?
Maybe if you kept your textbooks how you be learning on the high curriculum. My boy Andrew failed several classes, and I tell him to pay attention. Well, don't look like you pay attention enough. What we need to be worried about is the quality of these bathrooms.
Why blame the students for all these educational problems? Yes,
Appearance is a very important factor in
yes,
the
the appearance is a very important factor. But what's more important, where the students pee or the resources we need to learn?
Listen, the government is giving us the same amount as every other school. We are all equal in this system.
Stop sharing the money equally between all the schools. Our school needs more money than the other schools just a couple miles away.
The problem isn't the money. The problem is the students who are not meeting us halfway. I did not have a great education, but the background of a struggle makes you stronger. I was hungry for books, but my school didn't have them. So I had to walk an hour and 30 minutes.
Listen. I can process the information given me pretty well if I have enough one-on-one attention. But when teachers like this Montgomery over there don't have enough time with a kid like me,
I was talking all your electronics so you get a decent grade.
all I need is for you to listen. You're hurting me. You're hurting us.
We're doing this because we love you. We don't want to see you end up in the streets and selling drugs. Stop making excuses.
Excuse me. I have something to say. My name is DeAndre. And I think you're wrong. I mean, is it the students' fault for not having enough resources?
Yes.
Is it the students' fault for having less tutoring lessons? You know what? I don't think so. These problems are not the students' responsibility. It's the principal. It's the Department of Education. It's the government's responsibility to keep the students, my daughter, educated and be ready for college.
Get up.
I work in two jobs. I work for UPS as a package deliverer, and I have to take shifts in the grocery store. I work my ass off bringing the bread to the table, paying the bills, and saving money for my daughter's college funds. We don't want our children to fail and be unsuccessful because failure is not the option. Whew. Whew. I think I feel Jesus coming. I mean, how can you graduate when you fail? How can you understand the work without tutoring? Why always standing down when we should be standing up? We got to stand up. Stand down. We got to rise. We got to soul that color change. Well, and if we don't do better, well, if I don't do better for my daughter, then that's my fault.
And I'm not gonna let that happen. That's all I gotta say.
Right, everyone quiet down!
Now, the superintendent and Regent Dr. Thompson are here. So please keep your criticism to yourself.
That's all I gotta say.
All right, everyone quiet down.
Now, the superintendent and Regent Dr. Thompson are here.
I am very pleased to say that this school has made significant educational progress over the past 3 years, according to the state standards.
It's good to know that things are finally improving.
Tomorrow's not soon enough! Not enough! Not enough! Tomorrow's not soon enough!
Are you gonna stop this?
What do you suggest? We can just drag them out, can we? Civics was never my strong point.
Seniors, keep it down, and that's when we will take away that AP English class that you all have been screaming about.
Not enough! Not enough!
Control your kids, the press is here!
I'm getting security.
Dr. Thompson!
We aren't going anywhere.
Not without major changes.
What changes?
We have needs that can't be ignored.
I'm so proud of you, Gustave!
Our needs are legal requirements that haven't even been reached.
And these requirements are?
How about a sound basic education? Ever heard of it?
Appropriate class sizes, do we have it? No, most of my classes have up to 35 kids or more.
Just because we're in a school in your blind spot doesn't mean you're allowed to mistreat us.
Are we just not important enough to be held to a higher standard?
Not enough! Not enough!
These kids are heroes! Everybody gets a contract!
Well, what is it? A longer lunch period? How about a free period?
We will not be one with crap like that. We don't want less work. How about work that actually give us credit that we need for college?
More teachers for the students that need more help.
You see, we know our rights. So things like a longer lunch period isn't going to cut it, sir.
Can you give us what we want?
Can you give them what they need?
If you want real change, you can't sit here and do nothing. Former student council, start taking your school back on track.
Seniors, clear the area right now. We don't owe you some kind of pass to college.
Principal.
No, I'm sorry, sir, but I will not tolerate this type of behavior in my school. Remove them.
We just want to stay in the system we are a part of.
And I completely agree. Unhand that child! Principal Gordon, you may have forgotten that New York City is a part of New York State.
Whoa.
And New York State is a part of the United States. And in the United States, we have a little thing called the Constitution. And it serves to protect the rights of every American citizen through representation.
Yes, but they are just kids. Kids don't vote.
And the judiciary. These citizens must be protected regardless of their age.
Yes.
Principal Gordon, how about you and me have a little chat with my superiors?
You think we're standing down? We're gonna stand up, cause we ain't going back to being screwed up. You think we're standing down? We're gonna stand up, cause we ain't going back to being screwed up. You think
Dr. Thompson, give me some sugar!
That's all I gotta say.
Everyone quiet down.
Now, the superintendent and Regent Dr. Thompson are here.
Dr. Regent Thompson got stuck in Albany.
He won't be coming, and there will be no certificate.
Oh my God, everybody just keeps breaking Miss Latimer's heart.
There ain't no cavalry coming, it's us. Stay silent. It's us.
Who here is a student?
Stand up.
Who here is a teacher?
Stand up, please. Who here is a parent? Stand up. Stand up. Who here lives in New York? You have to stand up.
Why do we stand down?
Why do we stand down?
Why do we stand down?
But we should stand up.